Have you ever experienced complete silence? Most of us would say yes, but that's not true. Imagine someone who has lived their entire life in a city. One day they enter a soundproof room. They expect relief, but instead, they're overcome by panic. This isn't fiction. In the anechoic chamber at Orfield Laboratories in Minnesota, the quietest place on Earth, people start to hear their own heartbeat and the creaking of their joints. Within minutes, many begin to hallucinate. The silence is deafening because, for the first time, they hear the real noise, the non-stop monologue in their own head. This isn't just his story, it's ours. External silence is merely a mirror, and what we see in it terrifies us. But what if I told you there's a way not just to muffle this inner noise, but to find its off switch? We live in an era where silence is always filled. A person on the subway with headphones, a driver listening to a podcast, a woman cooking while watching a TV show. Every free second is packed with content. This isn't just entertainment, it's an unconscious escape. Psychologists call this horror vacui, the fear of emptiness. While once applied to art, it now describes our times. A 2014 study in the journal Science showed that many participants preferred to administer mild electric shocks to themselves rather than spend 15 minutes in silence, alone with their thoughts. But what are we so persistently running from? We're running from an encounter with the one person we are guaranteed to spend our entire lives with, ourselves. And that encounter scares us to death. We need to clearly distinguish between two concepts: acoustic silence, the absence of external sounds. It's easy to find, but almost useless. Mental silence, the absence of compulsive internal dialogue. This is the real goal. We chase the former, thinking it will grant us the latter. But this is the main trap. Acoustic silence is like tidying up your computer's desktop. Mental silence is like closing 50 open browser tabs that are consuming all your RAM. Sometimes, to find inner silence, you need to go into the very heart of noise. In this video, we won't be learning complex meditations. We'll do three things. First, we'll examine why attempts to clear your mind are doomed to fail. Second, I'll give you a simple mechanical tool to create an island of silence in 30 seconds. Third, we'll reach a state that scientists call default silence, your true, original state. Stop. Right now. Be silent for 5 seconds with me. What did you hear? Not externally, but internally. Fragments of thoughts, anxiety, an inner critic. This is your baseline level of noise. Remember it. By the end of this video, you'll look at it very differently. Imagine you're looking at a beautiful landscape through a dirty window. You grab a cloth and furiously start scrubbing. The landscape itself outside the window. Absurd. Yet that's exactly what we do when we try to force the mind to be silent. Thoughts aren't dirt on the glass. Thoughts are the very mechanism by which the mind operates. Trying to stop them is like trying to stop your heart. Psychologist Daniel Wagner called this the theory of ironic processes. His famous "don't think of a white bear" experiment proved, the harder you try to suppress a thought, the more intrusive it becomes. It's a fight against your own nature. Here's a brief scientific explanation. Meet the default mode network, or DMN. It was discovered by neurologist Marcus Reichel in 2001. He noticed a paradox. The brain became more active when subjects were supposedly doing nothing. This is your mind's factory setting. It's screensaver. It reviews the past, plans the future, and worries. Your brain isn't broken. It's working exactly as it should. The problem is, we've forgotten how to shift gears. This misunderstanding leads us to three main traps. The first is the strategy of struggle. You try to forcibly suppress thoughts. The effect is predictable. They only get louder. That same white bear, but now it's personal. The second is the strategy of substitution. You fill your head with music, podcasts, anything. It's like constantly throwing dopamine fuel onto a fire to make it burn brighter and drown out everything else. You get temporary relief, but the baseline level of inner noise only increases. The third is the strategy of isolation. You go to the woods, buy the best earplugs. The effect is ironic. You're left alone with the main source of noise, yourself. So, struggle, escape, and isolation don't work. But there is a fourth way. It's completely counterintuitive. To find silence, we don't need to get rid of the noise. We need to do something entirely different. We need to give our attention an anchor. Your attention is a spotlight in a dark room. It cannot help but shine. Thoughts are just chaotically flying dust particles that it catches in the darkness. Chasing dust particles is useless. Neuroscientists call this a competition between two networks: the default mode network, DMN, and the task-positive network. They operate in antiphase like a seesaw. When one is active, the other quiets down. You just need to direct the spotlight onto one stationary object. Everyone says, focus on your breath. But for an anxious mind, breath is a poor anchor. We immediately start to control it, evaluate it, worry about it. This happens because breath is linked to the autonomic nervous system, which is already in fight or flight mode during anxiety. Trying to control your breath can trigger a panic loop. We need an anchor that cannot be influenced. Something neutral, physical, undeniable. Do this with me, right now. Step 1. Sit or stand. Don't close your eyes. Step 2. Shift 100% of your attention to the sensation of your feet pressing against the floor. This is called activating proprioception, your sixth sense, the awareness of your body in space. Feel the weight, the texture of your socks, the coolness or warmth. Step 3. Keep your attention there. Thoughts will come. That's normal. Don't fight them. As soon as you notice you've been distracted, gently, without judgment, bring your attention back to your feet. That's it. In this moment, you are enacting a revolution. You are redirecting energy from the DMN, the mind-wandering network, to the network responsible for sensory perception. The noise hasn't disappeared. It has simply stopped being center stage. Your mind is a car on autopilot, constantly driving you along the same anxious routes. An inner anchor is when you take the wheel. You switch to manual control, focusing not on the destination, but on the feeling of the road beneath the tires. You haven't turned off the radio, you've simply changed the station to one without words. Imagine your mind as a bustling train station. Thousands of thought people rush back and forth. Your usual reaction is to try to stop each one, check their ticket, creating chaos. An inner anchor is when you simply sit on a bench in the center of the hall and decide to carefully examine the pattern on the tiles beneath your feet. People continue to rush around, but they no longer hook you. This detachment is the first step, but to truly manage the noise, you need to know its sources. Let's meet the three main DJs who spin records in your head. The first is the planner. Its motto, what's next? It makes to-do lists, rehearses future conversations, and optimizes routes. This is the work of your prefrontal cortex, an evolutionary marvel that allows us to plan. It's not a bug, but a feature that has gone rogue and is running 24/7. Its music is an endless soundtrack of future anxiety. It forces you to live in a day that hasn't even arrived. The second is the archivist. Its motto, remember when you. It replays old grievances, awkward moments, and mistakes. It's an expert in regrets. This is linked to the negativity bias. Your brain, specifically the amygdala, gives negative memories a stronger emotional tag, so you learn from mistakes and survive. This ancient mechanism, in the modern world, transforms into self-torment. Its music is a stuck record of the past. It forces you to live in a day that has already ended. The third is the commentator, the most insidious. It doesn't delve into the past or future. It simply comments on everything happening in real time. Oh, this coffee is good. Right, I need to reply to that email. Why did he look at me like that? In acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT, this voice is called radio incessant chatter, or simply the storytelling mind. It creates an illusion of control, but in reality, it just narrates reality, preventing you from truly living it. Now, a quick test. Which DJ is loudest for you today? The planner, the archivist, or the commentator? There's no right answer. Simply recognizing this fact is half the battle. Let me know in the comments. I'm curious to see which radio station is dominating for you right now. It doesn't matter which DJ is loudest. We make a fundamental mistake. We identify ourselves with this stream of thoughts. If the thought, "I'm a failure," appears in our head, we believe we are a failure. But a thought about a tree doesn't make you a tree. A thought about rain doesn't make you wet. So why does a thought about failure make you a failure? This phenomenon is called cognitive fusion, when you merge so completely with the content of your thoughts that you stop seeing the difference between a thought and reality. Our task is to learn cognitive diffusion. Imagine your consciousness as an endless sky. Thoughts, emotions, sensations are clouds. They come and go. Sometimes they are light and white, sometimes heavy and stormy. But you are not the clouds. You are the sky in which they appear. Unchanging, spacious, always present. This is the second, more advanced tool. It's called notice and name. In neurobiology, this is known as affect labeling. As soon as a strong thought or emotion arises, step 1, notice it. Don't get involved. Step 2, mentally label it. Not, "I am worried," but "I notice the thought of worry." Not, "I am angry," but "I notice the sensation of anger in my body." This tiny linguistic shift creates immense space. You stop being an actor in the drama and become an audience member in the theater. Sounds too simple to be true. On a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is esotericism and 10 is neurobiology, this method is a solid 9. fMRI studies by Matthew Lieberman at UCLA showed that when you name an emotion, activity in your brain shifts from the amygdala, the center of fear and panic, to the ventrolateral prefrontal cortex, the center of analysis and logic. You literally move the problem from the panic department to the planning department. When you practice anchoring and naming, something strange happens. You start waiting for the next thought to appear, to catch and name it. And in that moment, nothing happens. In the moment of pure, impartial observation of thoughts, they quiet down. This is the observer's paradox. It's like Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, but for consciousness. The act of observing a thought changes the thought itself. You cannot simultaneously be completely absorbed by a thought and observe it from a distance. And in that pause, you find what you were looking for. The person from our story at the beginning feared emptiness. But what you find in these pauses isn't emptiness, it's fullness. In Sanskrit, there's a word, purnata, meaning wholeness, completeness. It's not the absence of something, but the presence of everything at once. Your body, your breath, the very moment of now. It's a state where you don't think about life, but simply live it. This is home, your original state we spoke of. Now imagine that same person entering the anechoic chamber again. But now he knows that the noise in his head isn't him, they're just clouds. He sits down, uses the anchor on the sensation of the chair, the pressure of the backrest. He names each incoming thought, planning, memory, worry. The noise doesn't disappear, but it no longer deafens him. It loses its power. It becomes background like the hum of a distant city outside the window. His brain has switched from threat detection mode to curious explorer mode, and at the center of it all is silence. This inner silence isn't just for monasteries. It's a superpower for the modern metropolis. The ability to think clearly under pressure, when everyone around you is shouting. The ability to truly listen to another person, rather than your commentator already preparing a response. The ability to make decisions not from panic, but from a calm center. Elite units like Navy SEALs use similar techniques, such as box breathing, not for relaxation. They use them to achieve maximum effectiveness in the chaos of battle. This isn't about escaping reality. It's about being fully present in it. You don't get rid of the world's noise, you bring your silence into it. All of this sounds wonderful, but this isn't an instruction for a 10-day mountain retreat. You don't need a ticket to Bali. You need a protocol. You don't need to set aside an hour a day. 3 simple micro-habits are enough, seamlessly integrating into your ordinary, chaotic day. This is your protocol for coming home. The first habit, red light anchor. Every time you're at a stoplight, in a queue, waiting for an elevator. These are micro-pauses gifted to you by the city. Use these 15 seconds. Shift 100% of your attention to the feeling of your feet on the ground, to the pressure in your soles, or to the texture of the steering wheel beneath your fingers. No need for anything special, just return to your body for one brief moment. The second, one mindful action a day. Choose something completely routine, brushing your teeth, washing a cup, brewing tea, and do it with 100% attention, as if for the first time in your life. This isn't just a concentration exercise, it's a deliberate hack of automatic neural pathways. You are literally forcing your brain to create a new connection for an old action, pulling it out of autopilot mode. Notice every sensation, the water's temperature on your hands, the sound of the brush, the aroma of the tea, the weight of the cup. One action, completely. The third habit, the first 5 minutes rule. When you wake up, don't grab your phone. This is the cardinal rule. Doing so launches you into reactive mode for the entire day. Instead, give yourself just 5 minutes. Simply lie there and observe your mind's operating system booting up. Watch the first thoughts as if they were news headlines on a feed you don't have to read. Don't get involved. This sets an attentive rather than reactive tone for all the hours that follow. Silence isn't something you need to search for. It's what remains when you stop clinging to the noise. It has always been with you, beneath all the layers of thoughts, worries, and plans. It's not a fortress you need to build from scratch, but your true home, to which you simply need to remember the way. It's your natural state, your reference point, your home. Noise is a guest. Silence is the host. You just need to learn how to return. After all you've heard, what is silence to you now? A frightening emptiness you still want to fill, or a space of possibility you want to return to? Your answer is very important to me. Just write one word in the comments, emptiness or space.